Harvard Journal cancels Palestine issue. Academic freedom, your censorship. Imagine a world where academic freedom is conditional and certain topics are deemed too sensitive to discuss. Unfortunately, this is the reality that many scholars and researchers face, particularly when it comes to the issue of Palestine. The recent cancellation of a special issue on Palestine and education by the Harvard Education Publishing Group has sparked accusations of censorship and raised important questions about the limits of academic freedom. But here's where it gets controversial. The publisher claims that the issue was canceled due to copy editing issues and disagreements between editors and the publisher, while authors and editors argue that the real reason is the journal's focus on Palestine. As Joe Kelsey, an education professor at the Lebanese American University in Beirut and co-author of one of the issue's articles, put it, it's hard to disassociate this cancellation from the broader context and the related pressure that Harvard is being placed under by the Trump administration. The cancellation of the special issue is just the latest example of the Palestine exception to academic freedom, where scholarship on Palestine is subject to unique scrutiny and censorship. But what does this mean for academic freedom? And how can we ensure that scholars and researchers are able to explore sensitive topics without fear of reprisal? The issue began to take shape over a year ago, in March 2024, when the Harvard Educational Review started calling for submissions for a special issue on education in Palestine. The goal was to prompt a scholarly conversation on education and Palestine amid repression, occupation, and genocide. However, as the issue progressed, it became clear that the publisher was growing hesitant. In January 2025, the publisher told the journal's editors that there would be an institutional review of the articles slated for publication. And in February, they attempted to remove an article from the back cover of the journal's spring 2025 issue without the editor's knowledge. The authors and editors were alarmed by these developments, and 21 writers penned a letter to the publisher condemning the legal review and arguing that it was an extraordinary move that threatened academic freedom. As one author noted, academic freedom must not be contingent on political expedience. The controversy surrounding the cancellation of the special issue raises important questions about the role of academic freedom in scholarship and the impact of political pressure on academic publishing. It also highlights the need for scholars and researchers to be aware of the potential risks and challenges associated with exploring sensitive topics. So, what can be done to protect academic freedom and ensure that scholars and researchers are able to explore sensitive topics without fear of reprisal? One possible solution is to establish clear guidelines and protocols for academic publishing, including procedures for handling sensitive or controversial topics. Another approach is to promote greater transparency and accountability in academic publishing, including disclosure of potential conflicts of interest and biases. Ultimately, the cancellation of a special issue on Palestine in education is a wake-up call for scholars and researchers to be vigilant in defending academic freedom and to be aware of the potential risks and challenges associated with exploring sensitive topics. As Rabia Baraya, a Palestinian PhD candidate at Harvard Law School, noted, the issue here is not only censorship, but also the manufacture of consent to the Israeli genocide and starvation, climaxing as we speak. The debate surrounding the cancellation of a special issue is far from over, and it remains to be seen how the academic community will respond to this challenge. But one thing is clear: academic freedom is essential to the pursuit of knowledge and understanding, and it must be defended and protected at all costs. And this is the part that most people miss. The cancellation of the special issue is not just about Palestine, but about the broader implications for academic freedom and the pursuit of knowledge. So we ask you, what do you think about the cancellation of the special issue, and how can we ensure that academic freedom is protected and defended? Do you think that the publisher's decision was justified, or was a clear case of censorship? Let us know in the comments. Harvard's property at risk. Trump team's unprecedented tactic. Imagine one of the world's most prestigious universities being forced to confront the threat of a lien on its property, all because of allegations of mishandling a sensitive issue like anti-Semitism on campus. This is exactly what Harvard University faced when federal officials considered an unprecedented tactic to ensure compliance. But here's where it gets interesting. The proposal to place a lien on Harvard's property was included in a memo revealed in court filings, yet it never appeared in public demand letters to the university. The fact that no lien has been filed with the authorities responsible for maintaining land and deed records for Harvard's Cambridge, Massachusetts, or Boston campuses raises more questions than answers. This situation sparks a heated debate about the limits of federal power and the role of universities in addressing social issues. And this is the part most people miss. The potential consequences of such a move could have far-reaching implications for academic freedom and the autonomy of educational institutions. But what does this mean for the future of higher education? Should universities be held accountable for addressing social issues, and if so, to what extent? The proposal to place a lien on Harvard's property is a bold move that has sparked controversy and raised important questions about the balance between federal oversight and academic freedom. As we delve into the details of this story, it becomes clear that the situation is more complex than it initially seems. The allegations of mishandling anti-Semitism on campus are serious, and the university's response has been under scrutiny. However, the use of a lien as a means of ensuring compliance is a tactic that has been met with skepticism by some. On one hand, it could be argued that the threat of a lien is a necessary measure to ensure that universities take allegations of anti-Semitism seriously and take concrete steps to address the issue. On the other hand, others might argue that such a tactic is an overreach of federal power and could have a chilling effect on academic freedom. As we consider the implications of this situation, we are left with more questions than answers. What are the potential consequences of using a lien as a means of ensuring compliance? And how might this impact the future of higher education? Should universities be held accountable for addressing social issues? And if so, to what extent? We invite you to share your thoughts and opinions on this matter. Do you think the use of a lien is an appropriate tactic? Or does it represent an overreach of federal power? How do you think universities should balance their commitment to academic freedom with their responsibility to address social issues?